was speaking with a professor at Dartmouth College yesterday, and she teaches oral history related to Indigenous culture, also gender and sexuality related to Indigenous culture, and she was so brilliant. We were talking about listening, and we were talking about oral history, right? And how the voice itself carries so much information, and there's so many ancient cultures, so many ancient times that did not trust the written word, only trusted the spoken word. And then so I was also asking about listening, in that regard of like, okay, there's also something, or how do we listen? Like, what are the tools of listening that need to be present? And she started sort of going off on this tangent around, not really a tangent, around having five senses times five. Five senses times five. Each sense has all five senses. And so she was sort of offering this to me in when I was asking a question around listening, and she was like, well, listen with all of the senses, right? What is it to taste sound? What is it to feel sound? And sort of going in and expanding also, in that way, right? Like, we experience the world, we experience ourselves also through these five senses, which also, us being meditators, we understand that there are probably more. Where there's like a sixth sense that gets harnessed also in this practice. But I think that it's interesting to think about what's possible when we allow the senses to expand beyond what we expect them to be. How do we actually expand our living ways of absorbing information, to be a little bit more intuitive, maybe, a little bit more like otherworldly, right? A little bit non-human, but also very human at the same time. Yeah, play with that sort of, because when we think about the senses, these senses are going outward, right? Like, I see this, I touch this, I feel this. Also consider how those senses are experienced internally as well, right? Like, in meditation, we're working on going inward, but it's really through the senses that we are allowing ourselves to go inward. So how do you take, the taste of touch and allow that to be experienced, in the body in a deeper way?